Ah, yes, Elena. A woman so exquisitely maintained she squeaked when she walked, like a luxury handbag left too long in a showroom. She was beautiful in the way wealth prefers its ornaments, polished, silent, and outrageously expensive. Arthur's wife. Trophy. No, trophies get dusted. Elena got curated. Their marriage was not a romance, it was a merger, a hostile takeover of youth by capital. Arthur, self-made, stern, and allergic to nonsense, had purchased elegance, fertility-adjacent optimism, and a smile that worked well in photographs. Elena, in return, received a penthouse, a credit card that never blinked, and a life wrapped in velvet boredom. A golden cage, yes, but gold is heavy, and cages, regardless of finish, remain cages. Elena told herself she understood the terms. A business transaction, she thought. One I can cheat on. How entrepreneurial. Arthur was a man who treated time like an asset and people like line items. He didn't raise his voice, he didn't need to. His silence had interest rates. Dinner conversations were quarterly reports. Affection arrived as scheduled transfers. Elena learned quickly that passion was not on the balance sheet. And so, boredom. Not the common kind. No, this was artisanal boredom, imported, a curated emptiness that comes from having everything except relevance. She stared at city lights from 40 floors up and felt the crushing weight of being admired for nothing she had actually done. So she did what all modern philosophers do in moments of existential crisis. She opened an app. Uber arrived in 3 minutes because the universe, unlike Arthur, was efficient when it came to bad ideas. The driver, oh, this was inspired casting, young, built like a protein shake that achieved sentience, a jawline carved by optimism and poor decision-making. He had the posture of someone who believed life was a straight line and he was jogging it shirtless. More muscles than brain cells, and every one of those cells was busy lifting something heavy and unnecessary. Elena slid into the back seat of a budget sedan, the kind that smells faintly of energy drinks and regret, and sighed like a tragic heroine boarding a ship to Troy. Her boredom, she decided, was profound, historic even. Surely history would understand. The driver glanced in the mirror, smiled, the smile of a man who believed smiles were currency. Long night? He asked. Ah, yes, Plato wept. She gave a little laugh, the kind practiced in mirrors, the sound of a person testing the edges of their own invisibility. The city moved past them in neon smears. Elena felt alive in the way only reckless people do, mistaking motion for meaning. The back seat became a confessional. Arthur never listened, she said. Arthur was cold, she said. Arthur didn't see her. Of course he didn't. He'd already paid. The driver nodded with heroic intensity, as if absorbing wisdom. In truth, he was mostly absorbing her perfume and the astonishing fact that a woman like this was speaking to him. To him. He would later tell friends this story with embellishments and a confidence he had not yet earned. Elena leaned forward slightly, crossed a leg, the subtle choreography of disaster. She told herself this wasn't cheating, this was research, market analysis, a harmless focus group conducted in the back seat of a depreciating asset. And here's the thing about 5-star ratings. People chase them, they perform for them, they mistake approval for immunity. Elena thought she was slumming it for a thrill. The driver thought he'd won the lottery. Arthur, miles away, thought nothing at all. And that is how tragedies begin. Not with passion, not with hate, but with boredom, an app, and a sedan that costs less than Elena's shoes. Welcome to the vault.
Ah, secrecy, the favorite perfume of idiots. Their meetings continued, not dramatically, not poetically, but administratively. Scheduled like dentist appointments. Elena would summon the sedan. The sedan would arrive. The lion, yes, he'd begun calling himself that, would preen in the mirror and pretend this was destiny rather than convenience. They met in places that smelled of poor lighting and worse decisions. Underground car parks, cheap apartments with motivational posters and no books. Elena called it escaping the cage. Fenrir calls it downgrading the furniture. To her, he was anonymous passion. To him, she was a PowerPoint slide titled, "I've made it." Now, here's the flaw in every secret shared with a fool. Fools need witnesses, validation, applause, preferably in emoji form. One night, Elena slept, not metaphorically, actually slept. Curled, careless, expensive even in unconsciousness. Silk dress slightly undone, face relaxed, vulnerable, human. The lion saw an opportunity. Not love, not tenderness, proof. Out came the phone, front camera, angle adjusted, the sacred ritual of modern masculinity. He didn't think, should I? He thought, this will destroy the group chat. Click. A moment frozen forever, her elegance reduced to pixels, his mediocrity elevated by proximity. A trophy photo for a man who thought privacy was optional and discretion was for cowards. He sent it to his friends, the council of geniuses, men whose ambitions peaked at leg day. Bro, no way that's real. You're a fucking legend. And legends, as you know, must be shared. Someone, history will remember him only as the dumbest one, posted it on Facebook, public, no privacy settings, captioned with the literary grace of a damp brick. When you Uber into another man's life. Ah, poetry. The internet did what it always does when handed beauty and stupidity in the same frame. It clapped, it laughed, it shared. Comments flooded in like sewage after heavy rain. She thinks she's classy. Arthur gonna cry in his mansion, LOL. Rich dudes can't satisfy women. News at 11. Notice the contrast. Elena, raised on gallery openings and champagne with opinions, reduced to comment section confetti by men who thought grammar was optional and irony was a pizza topping. The city noticed. Phones buzzed, screens glowed. People who had never met Arthur suddenly felt qualified to humiliate him. And Arthur, oh, Arthur, was in a boardroom. Glass walls, steel chairs, men in suits discussing acquisitions worth more than the Uber driver's entire bloodline. Arthur sat at the head of the table, listening, calculating, being precisely what he had always been, untouchable. Then his phone vibrated. A message from a concerned friend. No greeting, no preamble, just a link. Arthur didn't open it immediately. He never rushed. He respected process. When he did, silence. Not anger, not disbelief. A stillness so complete it sucked oxygen from the room, the kind of quiet predators make before they strike. His face didn't change, no twitch, no drama, but something fundamental shifted. A calculation revised, a variable corrected. He didn't see a wife betraying him. He saw a brand compromised, a reputation turned into a meme, a public laughingstock, him paraded by men who owned folding chairs. The board kept talking, they always did. Arthur listened with half an ear, already elsewhere, somewhere cold, somewhere final. He placed the phone face down, folded his hands, and smiled, politely. The kind of smile that means someone, somewhere, has just signed their last contract without reading the fine print. Elena thought she was having an affair. The driver thought he was going viral. Facebook thought it was entertainment. Arthur thought one thing only: balance will be restored. And the internet, as always, had no idea what it had just unleashed. Welcome back to the vault.
Arthur did not call a lawyer. Lawyers talk. Lawyers bill. Lawyers suggest closure. Arthur wanted circulation. He made one phone call to a printing press that usually handled flyers for nightclubs and discount dentists. Men who understood volume. Men who asked no questions, only file formats. His order was specific: 1,000 rolls, the cheapest, roughest, most unforgiving one-ply toilet paper money could insult humanity with, the kind designed not to clean, but to teach. And on every single sheet, every square of abrasive truth, he printed Elena's face. That face. Perfect lighting, soft smile, the leaked selfie. Her beauty preserved in high-resolution irony, now destined to places no portrait should ever go. The printer hesitated. Arthur raised an eyebrow. The printer printed. And then, charity. Ah, yes. Arthur believed deeply in giving back to the community. He hired people, students, gig workers, smiling idiots with clipboards and instructions. They distributed the rolls everywhere that mattered: public toilets, city parks, night shelters, festival porta-potties, the sacred temples of human vulnerability. Free paper, they said. Promotional, they said. No brand name, no explanation, just Elena, smiling, watching, everywhere. The city wiped. They wiped after kebabs. They wiped after regret. They wiped after nights that tasted like poor decisions and cheaper alcohol. And every time, there she was. Class, elegance, reduced to function. Some laughed, some took photos, some didn't even notice, which somehow was worse. The internet caught on, of course. It always does. Late, loud, and morally bankrupt. Memes bloomed like mold. Luxury wipe, 5-star cleanup. When your affair goes biodegradable. Elena stopped being a woman. She became a utility. Arthur watched none of it. He didn't need to. Revenge, when done correctly, runs itself. When Elena came home, confused, frantic, clutching her phone like a rosary, Arthur was calm. He always was. He pointed to a suitcase by the door. Inside, clothes, shoes, and rolls. So many rolls. Her face stared back at her from every angle, smiling, forever smiling. "You're generous," Arthur said mildly. "I'm sending you with supplies." She cried, she begged, she spoke of love, misunderstanding, mistakes. Arthur listened the way one listens to a malfunctioning appliance. "You wanted authenticity," he said. "I've given you purpose." He told her where to go: the studio apartment, the Uber driver, the lion. No cards, no accounts, no penthouse, just one suitcase and a reputation now classified as disposable. She left without screaming. People rarely scream when they finally understand the price. And Arthur washed his hands. Fenrir will leave you with this thought: some mistakes can be forgiven, some can be settled quietly, and some Some are so profoundly, catastrophically stupid that the only justice left is to let the world wipe itself with you. Because, in the end, dear listener, not all scandals fade. Some just get flushed. Welcome to the Vault of Betrayal.